Hello and welcome to EFD, where today we've waded into the swamps of football Twitter to find some of the biggest myths this season. Let's see what you've been wrong about, and we're kicking off with a pretty strong debate. Number 10. Real Madrid are better than Barcelona. With Barcelona's financial woes meaning Frenkie de Jong, Ter Stegen and Dest could leave in January, it seems we're entering an era of Real Madrid dominance in Spain, especially with Mbappe possibly on his way next year. But while Los Blancos are currently top and 18 points clear of the Catalans in 8th, it's not clear that's entirely deserved. Barcelona's attack has netted 25 to Real's 39, but by XG it's barely worse. 1.6 versus 1.7 XG per 90, and their defence has been better, allowing 2 shots and 0.2 XG less than Ancelotti's team per game. And despite the talent drain at the Camp Nou, the Barca style is still obvious in the data, with more possession and passes into the box than their rivals, as well as a better press, closing down opponents more often and higher upfield than Real, and winning the ball more regularly when they do so, with 33% of their pressures gaining possession compared to 29% of Madrid's. While Barca have been the worst side by XG in 4 games this season, Madrid have been 5 times, but have been bailed out by Vinicius and Benzema, who have netted 23 from 16 expected goals. Real may have a brighter future than Barcelona, but in the present, they're just as bad, at least according to the stats. 9. Ronaldo is in the top 10 Premier League players. It's hard to let go of the past. This year's Ballon d'Or saw Karim Benzema outrank Mo Salah, while the FIFA Pro World 11 featured 4 Barcelona players, including Dani Alves, despite 12 of the worst months in the club's history. So perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that The Athletic recently voted Cristiano Ronaldo as one of the 10 best footballers in the Prem, even though there's no evidence to support that claim. Ronaldo, of course, has been exceptional for a 36-year-old, bagging 7 goals and 11 starts for United, but he's no longer head and shoulders above the rest. By expected goals and assists per 90, 10 Premier League players are still ahead of him, and he's not even top of the shots anymore, trailing Mo Salah with 3.9 efforts a game, still amazing, but his first time below 5 in 15 years. And while Bruno Fernandes adds defensive intensity and ball progression to his goal threats, Ronaldo's all-round game is gone, creating just 9 chances so far this season and closing down opponents just 6 times each match, in the bottom 2% of all forwards. He's still more than good enough to start for a top side, but to call Ronaldo one of the Prem's top 10 players, especially over Fernandes, Jota, Mount and Rice, is nostalgia, not reality. 8. Edouard Mendy is world class. Winning a Champions League will rightly turn you into a household name, but when it comes to Edouard Mendy, Chelsea fans might be getting ahead of themselves. The Senegalese has been excellent since arriving in England from Rennes last year, but his contribution to a defence which has averaged just 0.6 goals against per game is now in danger of being overstated, with some fans and pundits labelling him among the world's best keepers. Last season, Mendy may have picked up 16 clean sheets, but that was mostly down to an exceptional defence, plus his 71% save rate ranked only 12th among Premier League stoppers. And while that rate has gone up to an outstanding 85% this campaign, the £22 million man is only 4th in the division for clean sheets this time and is still performing roughly around expectation, letting in 11 goals from 12 expected at the time of writing, with Jose Sarr, Fabianski, Robert Sanchez and De Gea all making bigger differences between the sticks. Mendy has definitely improved Chelsea, especially after the embarrassment of Kepa's stint in goal, but he's not Alisson or Oblak. Sorry Blues fans, but that's the truth. 7. Dortmund in the title hunt. Prior to last weekend, you'd be forgiven for thinking there was a title race in Germany, and the table would have tricked you too. Though Bayern were favourites with a 6-point advantage over BVB, Marco Rosa's side looked head and shoulders above the rest, 6 points clear of third, and with Haaland fifth again, some fans may have dared to dream, but they shouldn't. Bayern and Leipzig boast better attacks than Dortmund's by shots and XG, while their defence is downright poor, with 6 Bundesliga sides allowing fewer goals so far. But even if they were good, they're up against a historically great Bayern. Nagelsmann's men create 1.9 XG more than they concede every single game, while they also lead the top 5 leagues in goals with over 3 a match, putting them on track for a new German record and racking up a better goal difference after 15 match days than Dortmund did in the whole of last season. They also won 6 of 6 UCL group games for just the second time, meaning they've now gone 4 years since they lost in the tournament's opening round. Against such a machine, no one would have much a chance. And after losing 3-2 away to Hertha Berlin last weekend, reality has shredded Dortmund's delusional title hopes. 6. Manchester City have plastic fans. Football has always been about fans ribbing one another, but it's hard to find a way to criticise a team that's better than yours. Manchester City are the only Premier League side to have made the top 4 in the last 11 campaigns, and have won 5 titles in that period. So rival supporters have had to get inventive when it comes to attacking Pep Guardiola's men, and have settled on criticising their new money status, christening the Citizen Stadium the Etihad. It's sort of clever, but is it really accurate? So far this season, City boast an average attendance of 52,000, 6th best in the league and almost dead level with the widely revered Anfield faithful, while only Palace, Villa and Tottenham take more supporters to away fixtures than the Mancunians. And once they're there, they make their presence felt, with a study published last season suggesting that City fans are the second loudest in the Prem behind Wolves, hitting 82 decibels at Premier League games, just 3 decibels short of risking potential hearing loss. It may not fit the narrative, but City fans are as passionate as anyone's in the divisions. No wonder given their years of pain. Let's hope this story dies in 2022. 5. Ajax are Champions League outsiders. It takes a lot to be taken seriously as a club from a smaller league, just ask Ajax. At the time of writing, betting odds put the Dutch side as 7th favourites to win the Champions League, and while that might sound positive, it's hard to argue why Real Madrid should rank above them, or even PSG, with only Bayern and the Premier League's big 3 clearly better right now. Despite retaining just 4 starters from their run to the semis in 2019 and making £199 million in transfer fees since, Ajax have remained an exciting and effective side, developing new stars like Ryan Gravenberch and Antony. With 13 of the 20 players they've used in Europe this season, 25 are under. Across the UCL group stage, their XG difference of nearly 1.9 per game outstrips every other team in the competition, and they finished with 6 wins from 6, something achieved by only 10 sides in history, while scoring 20, a tally bettered by Bayern alone. With performances like that, it will only take a little luck in the draw to give Ajax a real shot at the trophy. And while Erik ten Hag has been linked with the Man United and Arsenal jobs, on this evidence, those moves would be a step down. 4. Barcelona can buy players. We've argued that Barca's team is better than you might think, but behind the scenes, they're messier than you imagine. The loss of Messi and €1 billion worth of debt should have finally prompted some soul searching at a side on autopilot for too long, but Barca refused to live in the real world, with former president Bartomeu recently blaming the players for a lack of squad overhaul in 2019 and the club trying to borrow cash so they can spend in January. But none of this has stopped the endless spin of the rumour mill, with the Blaugrana linked with moves for Haaland, Martial, Aubameyang, Sterling and Ferran Torres, none of whom they can afford. Bar Aubameyang, every player there would cost over £50 million, and even Torres, the most likely signing, would want at least the €60k a week he makes at the Etihad, something Barcelona can't swing, having lost €500 million in cut player salaries twice in a year, as well as making the whole squad, bar Pedri and Ansu Fati, available for sale. Even if they work out some dodgy deal with City, Torres is another costly move for a team which hasn't come to terms with their new place in the football hierarchy. Keep pretending and bankruptcy is a matter of time. 3. PSG are in freefall. Signing one of, if not the greatest player in the world, a world-class goalkeeper and wing-back, plus the most iconic defender of the last decade, was always going to raise expectations. But currently, the narrative around PSG is that the wheels are coming off. Draws against the mighty club Brugge and Nice were treated as humiliations, while the knives are out for Mauricio Pochettino after less than a year at the helm. But are his critics warranted? PSG came second in their UCL group to Manchester City, but lost fewer games, and domestically, they're exactly as dominant as you'd expect. After 18 matches, they're 13 points clear, and are currently on track to take 95 points across the season, one shy of the French record they set in 2016. They're just as good at beating the press as they were under Tuchel, only getting disrupted every 18 passes, while they press roughly as much themselves as Manchester City and Chelsea. And though their XG difference is 0.8 a game compared to the high of 1.8 under the German, they still rank 5th best in Europe by that metric, not bad after 2 years of unbroken COVID ball. Frankly, it's an impossible task, striking a balance in a squad rammed with idle superstars and egomaniacs, with anything less than Champions League seen as a failure. If Pochettino leaves for Manchester in 2022, he deserves more respect for his work. 2. Vlahović is worth €80 million. In 6 months, Dusan Vlahović has gone from unknown to front page news, linked with Manchester City and Tottenham as an alternative to Harry Kane, and with Arsenal as a replacement for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But for €80 million, the 4th biggest Serie A fee ever, currently we're struggling to see it. The Serb has scored 36 league goals since the beginning of last season, but the warning signs are clear, with an unstable 5-goal lead over his XG, third biggest in Europe, and 11 penalties, almost a third of that total. His shots too, while looking solid at 3.2 per 90, are further out than ever, 17 yards from goal compared to 14 last year, and he had precious little outside the box, with just 13 passes a game, under 1 chance created, and a truly horrific 9 pressures each match, placing him in the bottom 12% of strikers. It's not like the 21-year-old is bad, he's clearly good, but he's not worth 80 million, especially as his XG barely beats a cooked Aubameyang's, with 0.5 expected goals per 90, about the same as the Arsenal man, and half that in matches against Serie A's top 6 teams. If the Gunners do pull the trigger, they could find themselves with Nicola Pepe Mark II. 1. Grealish has underwhelmed. For all the stats in football, most people still look at just one: goals. So, Jack Grealish's unimpressive tally of 2 strikes after 15 appearances for City has unsurprisingly seen the former Villa man targeted for criticism, especially given his £100 million price tag and both Chelsea and Liverpool's superior goal tally so far. However, 5 minutes watching Grealish or a quick stats check suggests there's not much in those claims. According to StatsBomb, the England man should have 7 goal involvements to date, and while his own poor finishing is to blame, there's no reason to expect that'll continue, with Grealish exceeding his XG in the last 2 years. But he does so much more for the team. At present, only Bruno and Trent have created more PL chances, while Grealish's actions bring his team 5.6 shots a game, second only to KDB in the Prem. And when it comes to dribbling into the danger zone, Grealish not only leads the league, but the world, carrying the ball into the box 52 times so far this campaign, the best in Europe and just 2 short of Mo Salah's record for the whole of last season. The only drawback of Grealish's City move is that he no longer gets the credit he did at Villa, but with output like this, it won't be long before the goals come and the critics eat their words. So that was 10 myths the stats disprove. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you not? Let us know in the comments down below and we'll try and respond. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to Eurofootball Daily this Christmas season with that notification bell switched on, and we'll see you next time.